What is up, everybody? It is Megan with Project Freya, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you happen to miss it, actually we hit our sub goal from the last YouTube video, so thank you for that. But we also hit our, on Twitch, our community channel points donation goal thing to do a 12-hour birthday stream. So we'll be doing that on Saturday, March 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Since that's upcoming, I thought I would go ahead and make a little tips and tricks video for you of things that I have used to kind of plan out and do my 12 and 24-hour streams in the past. Let's get into some tips. So my first tip for you would be to start your stream in the morning. Get up, get your coffee, get your breakfast, take a shower, and then get to your stream setup as soon as possible. The earlier you start this, the less time you spend in the nighttime, which is ideal, because the more you are streaming and doing anything at night, the easier your brain is at convincing you you're tired and it's time to go to sleep. Not really the best at explaining it, but when it comes to the 24-hour streams, if you start late in the day, you have to go through nighttime, and then you have to go through nighttime again, your brain gets really tricked into, hey, it's night, I need to go to sleep. So my suggestion would be to start them in the morning. This applies for the 12-hour streams and the 24, although this one is a little more important on the 24-hour stream. And speaking of breakfast, that actually brings us to tip number 2. That's 4, Megan. Tip number 2 is to be very careful about what you're eating and drinking throughout your stream. Your first thought when you're like, hey, I'm gonna stay up and stream for 12 hours or 24 hours straight is, let's get some energy drinks, right? I actually suggest to limit them as much as you possibly can because A, they're not good for you in general, but they are going to make it harder in the long run when the crash happens. So if possible, on a 12-hour, try and just stick to one if you really feel you need one. And on a 24-hour, I would really try and stick to 2. If you can manage with less, that's great, but the crash is going to be really hard, especially midway through a 24-hour stream. Don't forget to drink water, stay hydrated, and when it comes to food, it's going to be tempting to just order something good, especially if you're home alone and you don't have someone that can just bring you healthy meals. It's going to be real tempting to just order something. I highly encourage you do, even if you have to get up for a few minutes, make healthy things to eat. Not saying don't have snacks, but if you overload on carbs, you're going to fall asleep in the middle of the stream. If you sugar crash at 5 in the morning, you're gonna want to go to sleep. So just make sure you are careful about what you're eating. Also, try not to have like a big hefty meal. Try and spread it out a little bit, because if you fill yourself up, it's also going to help you get tired. So just do what you can to avoid the energy drinks as much as possible and make sure you have healthy food options ready for the stream. Tip number 3 would be to do something to make it different. For a long stream, it's important to keep things interesting. It doesn't matter per se if you're playing one game for 12 hours straight or a bunch of different ones. Coming from somebody who played 15 hours straight of Phasmophobia, that is not the biggest thing that's important, but you are going to want to keep it interesting. A popular option for this is a wheel spin. I've used it before. I had a channel point redemption option for wheel spins, and I also gave a wheel spin upon any subscription. That's just how I did it. There's plenty of other options if you are brave enough to do it on follows or anything like that. Wheel spins are great because there's so many different things you can do. You can do challenges. I had like eating the spicy jelly beans and the Bean Boozled. We even did boiled eggs and peas, which I don't suggest. I absolutely do not suggest you do that. But you could put different games, you can do different activities, but that not only engages your audience, but it keeps things kind of going and mixed up for you so you don't get bored and tired. Another thing you can do, just to spice things up, if you can do it, is giveaways. Those are another, again, engaging thing and a different thing for your community. Honestly, you can even just set some games aside that you will play with your community, whether that, followers, subs, however you want to do that, but just something that's a little different from your normal day-to-day stream that makes it an exciting event, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's an event, right? Which leads me to tip number 4, advertisement. It's an event and people need to know it's happening, because it'd be a real bummer if, you know, your normal stream time, people see, oh, you've already been live for 6 hours out of your 12-hour stream. That's a real bummer. I wish I could have made it, you know. Make yourself a little graphic. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can use Paint if you don't have a Photoshop option. Just put a little something together that you can post on your Instagram, your Twitter, make a YouTube video, anything, any awareness you can get on the event, because people love the hype behind a long stream. They just have to know that it's going to be a thing to get hyped about it. Going for really long hours in a stream can be really hard when you have an empty chat. So it's important to get everyone excited so that they can be there. I think you'd be surprised at the people that actually take on the challenge of sticking out the whole stream with you, which can be really comforting, because as I mentioned earlier, 15 hours straight of Phasmophobia in the middle of the night, doing long asylum runs in the dark and long dark hallways. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I had a friend with me, I probably would have crashed somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning, which maybe that's another tip. Try not to play anything that's gonna put you to sleep in the middle of the night. But speaking of everyone getting excited about a 12-hour stream, somewhat segues into my next tip for you, which would be, do not do this in the beginning of your streaming career. I myself thought about doing a 12-hour stream to help myself grow when I first started streaming. It is a temptation. There will be some people that join in for just the hype of a long stream when they see it in your title, but for the most part, those people are few and far between, and you will not be getting new followers just because you're doing a 12-hour event. These events really are for engaging with your community, or if you're fundraising, you know, things like that. These are events for a community that somewhat already exists. 11 hours into your 12-hour stream, when you're feeling kind of sleepy and less engaged in the chat, is not the time when new people coming in are going to feel welcome and engaged by you and want to follow you or subscribe. So this is a reason that I really suggest you wait to do this until you do have a little bit of a following, 1 or 2 people that may want to try and make it as far as they can with you, or at least be engaging as much as possible. Not only make your long stream easier, but it gives you a point in even doing one to start with. It's really hard to keep going when you have no one in chat to engage with. It's hard enough normally, but imagine it's 3 a.m., you've been streaming for, you know, 19, 20 hours and you're sleepy. If there's no one there, you're gonna have little to no motivation to really push through, which is also kind of why I would say I recommend, if you're going to do it, if, you know, the time has come or you're just determined to do it, would be to start with a 12-hour, because it is harder than you think it's going to be. Put your toes in with a 12-hour stream, and, you know, when you've grown a bit, go for a 24. There are people who say don't do it because of that fact that, you know, 20 hours in, people are going to come in and you're going to be tired and less engaging, but it can be fun if you have people that are willing to stick it out with you. But make sure you start with a 12-hour first, because it'll really open your eyes to how difficult it can actually be. It's a huge commitment to do a 24-hour stream, and the payoff for a streamer is very minimal, if any at all. So the last tip that I have for you, which is the most important tip, is to have a plan, which, if you didn't guess by all the tips I gave before, you need to plan out some games you want to play, what you're going to do to make your stream special. Are you going to do a wheel spin? Are you going to do giveaways? What are you going to do to make it special? Give some thought to that. How are you going to advertise? Are you going to do a little graphic? Are you just going to make tweets? How are you going to advertise? How are you going to make people aware you're even going to have the stream start with? Get your food and drinks ahead of time, so that you're not ordering fast food that's just going to put you to sleep in the middle of your stream. Plan what time you're going to get up so that you have enough time to shower and be ready for your stream for the time that you've set. Everything needs to be planned out if you want a shot at this to be successful, because if you rely on yourself 11 hours into a 12-hour stream, the answer is probably just going to be to go to bed. I guess I should put in a little last piece of advice is, if you're getting to the point where you do not feel well, you cannot hold out any longer, do what is best for your health first. The stream will understand if you can't finish the timer, and that's okay. You tried, now you know what you're getting into, or whatever the case may be. Your health comes first, your chat will understand. Do not push yourself to the point of getting sick. But that's it for the tips that I have for you. Any tips and tricks you have to survive long streams, leave them in the comments below. I'm curious. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you like the video so I know to keep making it. And subscribe to the channel while you're at it. It really is helpful. Other than that, I will see you guys on March 6th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the stream to celebrate my birthday. And I hope you have a good one until then.